The temple in Jerusalem was at the heart of the history of the people of Israel. Marching armies in an attempt to capture the land of Israel always would take control of the temple. The temple was a symbol of political unity for the nation of Israel. The temple was the center of the social life of the people of Israel. Above all, the temple was a religious place of worship. It was a sacred space. Was the temple just a physical structure? Looked at from the spiritual perspective, the structure of the temple is a symbol of my own relationship with God. It suggests the different dimensions of my own spiritual journey. The inward, upward, and outward journey. The Temple of Jerusalem was built on a mount. It had different courts which led finally to the most important part of the temple. My own spiritual journey involves certain ascent, climbing up, a decision to make a choice. My journey moves through different courts, different stages with a variety of possibilities. I may begin the spiritual journey just because of my social affiliations, my family of origin, cultural context, friends. When I begin the journey, I find myself in the outer court. The outermost court of the temple was the Gentile court. Into this court, anyone could enter. It was meant for worship too of all nations. However, by the time of Jesus, there was much social life in the Gentile court with a lot of business. Besides food and other luxuries for the pilgrims, there was great activity here in exchanging money. To change the Roman coins into the temple shekel for the offerings, and to buy animals and birds for sacrifice. It is this area that Jesus was trying to cleanse. At times, I too am part of the crowd in my religious endeavor. The crowd becomes distractive. I get stuck. But there is a possibility to move on. From the Gentile court in the temple, there was the entrance to the court of Israel. In this area, women had their own section. In the Israelite court, we suppose there was fellowship. The Jews sang sacred songs, the psalms, and danced. There were prayer elements in the activities, but also a lot of social activity. Perhaps it is here that the rabbis sat in different corners and taught. Jesus was also found teaching in the temple, and he did this probably in this area. Sure enough, here there was more serious activity than the hustle and bustle of the court of the Gentiles. I too move on in my faith journey, a journey towards the experience of God in Jesus. And I find a little consolation listening to preachings and singing sacred hymns. But I know that the real experience of God is even beyond this. deeper into the temple, at the third level was the court of the priests. Here, there were 3 focal points, each with its specific purpose. There were the levers meant for incense. These were in 2 sets of 5 each on either side. There was the brazen sea, where the blood of the animals was poured in libation. There was also the altar, where the sacrifice was offered. In the court of the priests was yet a deeper form of relating to God than just fellowship. This was the place of worship. I too participate in devotional practices and meaningful rituals. I feel moved. Yet, God experience is even beyond all this. For sure, it could be mediated by the different levels of my own experience in religion. But I need to move towards the Holy of Holies. Right inside the sanctuary, there was the Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies housed the tabernacle, that is, the Ark of the Covenant that contained the tablets of the 10 Commandments. Only the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies. There was a black curtain that hid the Holy of Holies from the view of the public. No one has ever seen God face to face. For the Jews, the tabernacle meant the presence of God Yahweh. So no one could see the tabernacle face to face. It is not by chance that the psalmists sing the glories of the temple, particularly expressing their yearning to be in the Holy of Holies. Psalm 84 expresses that deep longing of the Jew. One day within your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. Many of the pilgrim psalms express powerfully the inner thirst of the believer to be in the presence of God who is enshrined in the temple. With the coming of Jesus, there is a new meaning to the Temple of Jerusalem. First of all, Jesus cleanses the Gentiles' court and re-establishes its original purpose, to be a sacred space for all peoples. When Jesus was hanging on the cross and about to breathe his last, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour, while the sun's light failed and the curtain of the temple was torn in 2. This is a moment of revelation in the history of salvation. God is not hidden in the dark corner of the temple anymore, but hangs on the cross outside the city walls. There is no more secrecy about the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could enter. Because of the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus, the Paschal mystery, everyone who believes in Jesus has access to the Holy of Holies. The hour has now come. My own spiritual journey is like entering the temple and moving towards the Holy of Holies. My journey too moves through different courts, different stages with a variety of possibilities. Where am I in this journey? Am I just stuck in any of the outer courts? Am I still in an outer court and complacent that I am part of the temple? Have I found the fulfillment for my heart's desires in the Holy of Holies. Let us restructure the rectangular temple courts to concentric circles. If we say our Christian life journey is like entering the temple, then it has also the image of the inward and outward journey. It is an inward journey into my own self and outward to others. It is an inward movement into the Holy of Holies and outward into the marketplace. It is an inward pilgrimage into the heart of God Himself and an outward journey into our daily life in the world. Often, my spiritual journey is not that straightforward. It is a labyrinthine journey, as if moving through a maze. Despite its confusing twists and turns, it has a purpose, a direction. There is an inward movement towards a sacred space at the center of my being. Insofar as I am created in the image of God, the journey inward into the recesses of my own self is at the same time a journey upward into the heart of God. I stand unworthily in the Holy of Holies. This is a fulfillment of the longing of my heart. There is gratification, meaning, purpose, salvation. Then there is the outward journey. The journey is filled with the energy and hope from the sacred space to daily life, the marketplace, the hustle and bustle of the streets, the interaction with fellow humans that desires to leave a legacy that enhances life. I share the grace of the heart of God. The upward, inward, and outward movement is three-dimensional. However, it is not meant to be three separate journeys. They are three dimensions of a single movement. This is spirituality. This is Christian life.